Welcome to the Project Wildlife Transportation Training. Thank you for your interest in helping local wildlife in need make it to the Project Wildlife Care Center from across San Diego County. Here's what our agenda will look like today. We will talk about what wildlife transport is, why it's so important, and how it works. We will also go into the details on what wildlife drop-off locations we work with and how you can get started. The ultimate goal of the transport program is that our wildlife transport team get the animals that have been dropped off at locations across San Diego and bring them to the care center to receive necessary care. Project Wildlife is one of only 2 rehabilitation centers covering the entire county of San Diego. That encompasses a huge geographical range. We work very closely with our San Diego Humane Society campuses in Oceanside and Escondido, as well as vet hospitals across San Diego that act as wildlife intake spots. This is why the transport program exists. Our team of wildlife transporters get wildlife in need to us. So what is it? Transport is the moving of wildlife patients from one of our partner agencies to the Project Wildlife Care Center. It is accomplished by our volunteer transporters, but in their absence must be carried out by Project Wildlife staff. With our small staff of only 9 people, it can be very difficult to accommodate transport needs without you, especially during baby season when we have the need for as many as 5 transports per day from various areas around the county. This is extremely important because when wildlife is dropped off at any of our partner agencies, they can only stabilize the animals and do not have the proper resources to fully treat the animals. Project Wildlife has specialized training, tools, and diets to work with wildlife, and their best chance of survival is to make it to us as soon as possible. During baby season, we are transporting over 50 animals per week. That's a lot of animals. We serve over 320 different species of wildlife, so you will be transporting a wide variety of animals. You will see lots and lots of babies, especially during baby season between March and September. You will also see many small birds, different raptor species, mammals, as well as larger seabirds and shorebirds. Some of the most common birds you might see are house finches, mourning doves, baby owls, and mallards. The most common mammals you might see are opossums, cottontails, and baby squirrels. Keep in mind you will not be transporting any rabies vector species unless you have your full rabies vaccination. This includes bats, raccoons, foxes, and skunks. Definitely no skunks. That being said, this will not be you. No bear, bobcat, deer, or mountain lion, or coyotes should be transported in your vehicle. So let's talk more about the different transport routes that need coverage for Project Wildlife. Route 1 is our busiest route. It runs from Oceanside to the Project Wildlife Care Center. We normally have a transport need on this route every day. There can be anywhere from 2 to 4 stops on this route, which serves the I-5 corridor. It can also be one of the heaviest traffic patterns, so the time of day you do your transport is important. This shift will be 2 to 3 hours long depending on where you depart from. The partner agencies on this route include Mission Animal Hospital, All Pets Animal Hospital, the San Diego Humane Society's Oceanside campus, and the Department of Animal Services in Carlsbad. Route 2 is our next busiest route and covers the Escondido area or the I-15 corridor. This route has 2 wildlife intake spots, which include the Escondido campus and Acacia Animal Hospital. Finally, our third route serves the Imperial Beach area and includes 3 potential stops. This route deals more with the beach areas and lifeguard towers, which can get very busy during the summer months. The locations where transport may be needed are Chula Vista Animal Services and the Coronado and Imperial Beach lifeguard towers. In joining the wildlife transport team, there will be a few requirements to consider. The minimum commitment for the transport program is 1 shift every other week. You pick a day and commit to that day every other week, or weekly if you'd like. It's up to you what time of day you do your transport, as long as it's between Project Wildlife's hours of 8 to 6 p.m. in the off-season and 8 to 7 p.m. in the baby season. However, keep in mind the later you do your transport, the better. There will be days when more animals come in after you've already done your transport. These animals will wait until the next day to be picked up by the next transporter. You will be using your own vehicle for transport and must have your transport permit with you at all times when you have wildlife in your car. This permit is issued to you by Project Wildlife once you have completed the training. Here's an example of what a monthly transport calendar might look like. Keep in mind that timing is flexible. Some volunteers are on a set weekly schedule, some are on a set bi-weekly schedule, and some just plug themselves into the schedule where there might be openings, which is equally as important. You might be wondering what your day would look like. You would start by calling all partner agencies to see if they have wildlife that needs picked up. You can simply say, "Hello, my name is Polly. I'm the Project Wildlife Transporter today. Do you have any wildlife needing picked up?" Once you've done this, you've determined where you will be stopping. You will drive to each agency to pick up the animals. They should be boxed and ready to go. If they are not, please ask a staff member to prepare them for you. Once you have transported and made all your stops, you will head to the Project Wildlife Care Center to drop off the animals. When you arrive, you just notify a supervisor or technician the number of animals you have and are leaving them in the med room for exam. Guess what? You just did your transport. When you arrive at the care center, there will be staff to assist you in unloading the animals and filling out the intake logbook. You might spend an extra 10 minutes or so completing the intake logbook. Before you leave the care center, you can pick up clean transport crates and boxes, restock your supplies and towels, and reload your car for your next trip. Once these things are done, your shift is over and you're free to head out. Transport shifts will range in time from 1 to 3 hours depending on the number of stops you make and traffic. Therefore, time of day you go will make a big difference. Let's talk a little bit more about our policies for the transport program. You will always make sure the animals are placed safely in your vehicle so they won't shift around while you are driving. You will cover their crates or boxes with towels to keep them warm, dark, and quiet. Remember, hummingbirds will need to stay in the light. You should also keep noise level in your vehicle to a minimum to reduce stress on the animals. Radio should not be loud, and keeping windows up is best to reduce wind and noise. Never transport in an open vehicle, truck beds, convertibles, open sunroofs. I'm sure you can picture why this might be a bad idea. Do not feed the animals or give them water in their crates. Don't make any extra stops while you're on a transport, keeping in mind that the animals need to get to the care center as quickly as possible, and they can't be left in hot vehicles for very long. If you have multiple animals, try to separate predator from prey species when placing the boxes in your car. Also, make sure all crates and boxes are securely closed. Never hold an animal overnight in your home. They must make it to the care center the same day. And try to do everything in a calm and quiet manner as much as possible to reduce stress. Your supplies for transport will be a mix of crates of various shapes and sizes, lots of clean towels to cover the crates, blankets to cover car seats or bigger crates, boxes for smaller mammals and birds, maps and directions, and phone numbers and staff contact lists. Project Wildlife will provide you with all the supplies you need to do transports. So getting started, you will determine what day, shift, and route is best for you. We will schedule your shifts into your VicNet calendar so we can create a master calendar for the program. Once you've determined what route and shift is best for you, you will complete your online quiz, one wildlife handling session at Project Wildlife, and pick up all supplies that you will need right after your handling session. You also need to create your own maps or directions. This will vary based on where you're departing from. Volunteers can depart from their own homes, or they can come to the care center first if they prefer. We recommend making a folder for yourself to keep all of your transport resources and paperwork together. Once you've done all of this, you will run your first transport on your assigned day, or if you don't feel 100% comfortable going alone on your first trip, you can schedule a day for a shadow run with a Project Wildlife staff member or an experienced transport volunteer. We know you're so excited to get started transporting wildlife. Please take the next step and complete the online quiz. We will be in touch once we receive your completed quiz. Thanks for watching.